if I could tell you with 100% certainty that either that Harris is going to win the presidential election,
Yeah.
would you have any idea how to invest with that information? Could you take that as so-called inside information and put on a position and predict a financial outcome?
No, if you told me there's not a single.
And if I told you Trump was going to win, same question.
There's not a single election outcome that if I knew the results to ahead of time, I would know what to do. And I would bet a lot of money that everybody would be in that same situation. My gut said if we rallied up all the way up into the election, that it was going to be a very easy sale. If we sell off prior to the election, it's going to be incredibly difficult. And all along, I felt the path of least resistance is lower. So that to me is the easy trade. But if they sell off now before the election, like, today, tomorrow, the next couple of days, whatever, I will find it very difficult to have an election play, especially a downside election play. I think that'll be challenging.
So you're saying, if anything, you'd rather see the market not sell off like it is right now, and then basically anticipate a sell-off after the election, regardless of the outcome, and that's not a meaningful comment.
No, I don't think about things that way. So no, I don't actually want that. I'd rather see a sell-off now and a little pop in volatility now. I think it'll be better for trading. I don't think 2 weeks ahead, like this is what I want to happen. I think right now, I'd like to see today we got vol up right now, up over 6%. I like that. I kind of want to see a continuation of that. And so, no, I don't want to see us wait. Let's do it now.
Is there a volatility compression? How do I say this? So before XYZ Corporation reports earnings, there's sort of the tasty trade beginners trade, which is sell an iron condor on a highly liquid name before earnings. And you'll see what happens to volatility, and you can cover your iron condor the day after earnings. Does the election represent that? Can I do that? Can I sell volatility in the bond?
I don't think so. I mean,
and expect it to come in after the election.
I think we're at a couple of different market extremes here that are really interesting. Market extreme one, obviously the S&Ps. The reason I'm short S&Ps right now is because I thought that they would follow the bond market lower. And those two have been relatively, correlated as of late. And I felt that S&Ps would follow stocks lower. And I felt if they didn't, S&Ps would follow bonds lower. And if they didn't, S&Ps would sell off no matter who won the election. They might not wait. But there are lots of markets right now that are really interesting. But to get back to your original question, really interesting because they're at price extremes. But to get back to your original question, I don't feel like there is a real way to play the election unless you just flat out bet on the election.
Meaning predicted or polymarket, or you mean literally the contracts on the outcome?
Yeah, the binary contracts on, election betting. Polymarkets is crypto only, not legal in the U.S. Predicted is a university site, but it only allows $800 max bet. And Kalshi is the only one that's CFTC approved and allows for you can do whatever you want. And that's probably the cleanest bet out there if you wanted to go that route. What's interesting to me, there's a couple of really interesting things about the betting markets to me. And I will tell you that in full disclosure, I spoke this week with all three CEOs of all three of those sites. So the CEO of Kalshi, the CEO of Predicted, and the CEO of Polymarkets. I'm friends with all of them, and so I talked. We were just bullshitting, and I feel like they're very interesting, and I'll tell you why. The Polymarket, not Polymarkets, the Predicted site's been up and running the longest, and they have a real model, meaning that every bid and every offer is just another customer representing. There's no market making firms. So it's a true market with just customers on both sides. Bids and offers are just represented by customers because the max is small. The max you can bet is small. So it's pure customer representation. So I really appreciate that marketplace. I think it's the most accurate, I think. Kalshi, which is the newest is CFTC regulated, and the primary market maker there is Susquehanna, which is, that's their business. They're market makers, and their business is, make markets. I mean, I always feel they're a little skewed because Jeff Yaz is one of the richest people in America, and also one of the largest Trump contributors after Elon Musk. So, but an incredibly brilliant trader, and runs
financial systems engineer, I would even say.
Yeah. I mean, he's a genius. Whatever you want to say. I mean, there's no other way to slice it up. I mean, I've watched him for 40 years. He's a legit rocket scientist. I mean, when it comes to market making, him, Ken Griffith, these guys are the best.
Next level.
Yep. And so that's who's making markets for primary market maker for Kalshi. And then,
but he's also the cake is baked because he's a Trumper. So
hardcore. Yeah. Hardcore. And part of it's digital assets. Part of it's he made a lot of his money in TikTok. He really thinks Trump is the answer to TikTok not being, TikTok surviving.
He has policies that anyway.
There's
a reason to potentially be.
Whatever.
It may be affecting the market. We don't know.
Polymarkets is interesting because they have converted what I consider to be dead money, which is like crypto money, into political betting and event-based betting, which is really interesting to me. That's why they have so much more money bet on their site. Their CEO's super young and crazy smart too, and they have the kind of the strongest odds. But I find their site to be really interesting too. It's just not really legal in the U.S., so it's a little more difficult to participate with. But anyway, I've been tracking all three markets for months now, and I find them all interesting. You cannot arb those markets, but I feel like they give you a really good taste of what the public sentiment is. And they went from Trump having a big lead a couple of months ago to Kamala having a huge lead after the convention, to Trump back taking over with a significant lead 2 weeks before the election right now. And that's
but that's true for all three markets.
It's true for all three markets. They're very different in the level of lead and percentage points, but it's true for all the markets. Sometimes they were mixed, but now they don't. Now they have Trump in the lead. All three markets do. So that's interesting. Now, all three markets had Clinton. Well, there wasn't three markets then. There was only predicted. Had Clinton in the lead, huge going into election night, just so you know, bigger than Trump's leading now. And in 2020, it was kind of a toss-up. So anyway.
Meaning that the prediction markets, as much as we would all like to say, well, money talks and bullshit walks, that the financial prediction markets are no more reliable than a poll. It's based on anecdotes of 16 and 20.
We haven't had enough money bet in the past because it's been very limited betting. This will be the first year where there's, at least, let's call it $1 billion on the line. So you're not approaching Super Bowl-like numbers, but at least you're getting up there to public disclosures of whatever, close to $1 billion.
Sure. Okay. Let's just start right here. The betting markets, which may be more credible than ever, albeit still developing.
Yeah, they're in their infancy.
Believe that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States of America.
As of today, a lot can change.
That's right. Last I saw, and again, this is a deeply, easily manipulated data sets. The polling popular vote, it tends to sort of track 1 to 2% in Harris's favor.
Yes, she's still leading in the popular vote.
And then the gaming of the Electoral College, i.e. North Carolina, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, sort of, I guess it's the big seven this year are the deciders.
Yeah.
Have show momentum for Trump.
Yeah.
If you were to make a bet today, would you rather buy Trump at 60 cents unpredicted or buy Harris at 43 cents unpredicted?
Oh. I mean, I am biased. I am not.
But setting aside your buy, you're also a trader.
Yes, I am a trader.
Set aside your bias. Would you rather buy Trump at 60 or?
I can't.
Okay, so, but you don't have to buy Harris at 43.
I don't have to do it. I am going to, but I don't have to. But yes.
And you're doing that because of a personal preference, or because you actually think she's going to win and it's a good financial decision?
Why would I ever do something if I didn't think it was a good financial decision? Like, I'm not.
And people make all kinds of decisions all the times that are bad financial decisions.
They do if there's some other potential outcome that you're playing for. I don't have another. If I was going to bet on it, I would obviously do it because I would think that I'm going to get paid. But I do a lot of things.
So you think Harris is you basically you're taking Harris and the points as they would say.
I'm taking the home dog on a Monday night.
You're taking Harris and the points.
It's a home dog on a Tuesday.
And 7 points.
It's a home dog on a Tuesday night. Yes, that's exactly what I am, taking Harris and the points. But I'm also somebody that doesn't flip. Like I would never bet like when I play Baccarat, I only bet the bank. When I do certain things, I will never bet against the Bears. Like I don't bet against the family.
But you don't necessarily bet on the family. If
You're right.
The family doesn't stand.
That's right. If I don't
bet against the family,
I don't like the bet, I will not make
on the family in this situation. Huh?
If I don't like the bet, I will not make it.
Right. And so you like Harris at 43.
I like Harris with the points. Yes. I mean, these are binary bets. There's not much to this. This is brain dead stuff. I mean, this is the stuff that they, this is flipping a coin. This is not.
And do you think that the stock market has as much conviction in a presidential outcome as the betting markets appear to have at this moment?
Let's put it this way. And I'm not this is not like saying something crazy. I'm going to be willing to bet, I don't know. Let's say I bet $5,000 or $10,000 on the election total. I'm going to bet $500,000 to $1 million on the bond market. Like I'm going to do something. My bet is going to be. You're saying,
but on the bond market in the direction of Harris?
No, in the direction that I think it's going to go at post the election. It has nothing to do with Harris. It's not a bet on Harris or a bet on Trump. It's just, I think there are certain markets right now that have gone to such an extreme because the market is overplaying their card. Like if Trump wins or loses, I think the bond market's going higher. If Harris wins or loses, I think the bond market's going higher.
Your degree of confidence in the bond market directionally, regardless of the election, is a vastly more conviction than anything to do with the.
Exactly. I think there are certain markets that have over discounted. They've gone to an extreme betting on a Trump win. One is the U.S. dollar and the other is the bond market. And I think regardless of what happens, both of those markets are going to reverse the day after the election. And I'm going to be very well positioned there. I think the dollar had a ridiculous rally. It needs to be sold. I don't even know if it'll wait to the election. And I think the bond market's had a ridiculous sell-off and needs to be bought. And I'm not sure if I can wait to the election. But those are, regardless of who wins the election, that I'm not playing that as a bet for Harris or against Trump or any of that kind of stuff. Not at all. I just think the market gets like this craziness, like what you recently saw what you recently saw in gold, is another example. And in silver, we got to a point of ridiculousness. It's coming back a little bit today. I think that that's totally normal.
How do you reconcile the opinion that the outcome of the election is relatively immaterial to the financial markets?
I don't. Why would that? Why do I have to reconcile that? I would have it no other way.
So you think that the winner of the presidential election has a meaningful impact on the financial markets in this particular instance?
No, I don't think the winner of the election has ever mattered.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that's the first part of the assumption. And then the second part is, with that said, after the election, I believe the bond market will rally substantially and the dollar will sell off. So on the one hand, who wins the presidential election does not matter. This is all hypothetical discussion.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, once the presidential election is behind us, you believe the bond market and the dollar will have material moves in November.
Yeah, and I think the stock market could have a material move too, but it depends where it is in 2 weeks. Like right now, if it continued to go higher, I would have thought it could have a material move to the downside. If it sells off now, then that bet's off the table. Like a lot of this stuff just, we have 2 weeks to go. I'm not so sure that everything doesn't change.
So it's more a function of where the market level is. It's the same as my non-existent short position in gold, which is not relevant to the election. It's relevant to the absurd nature of where gold has been. And you're saying the bond market is ridiculous. It's going to rally. Come on.
That's right. So I don't like
the same way.
I don't
I got
like
you.
all this crazy. I don't like all the craziness that surrounds all the speculation. That's why, I mean, we're doing an election special. I know because you're participating in it, and I'm so excited about it because we're doing it the way that it should be done, which is having a little fun with it. Which is what everybody should do with the election. It's a very serious moment in history, but we should have some fun with the, speculating the outcome, because taking yourself too seriously with respect to that is just, it's nonsense. I hate it. Drives me crazy.
My friend Chris Vecchio, do you know who I'm talking about?
I've heard of him.
He's my friend.
Okay.
And he believes that there are specific securities that are related to Donald Trump.
I mean, other than DJT, I'm not sure what he's referring to.
Again, I don't want to misrepresent his Trump portfolio, and I myself can't remember the names particularly, but it's some set of names like McDonald's and like.
Oh, McDonald's is having other issues today. They're trying not to kill people from eating a quarter pounders with cheese. So
yeah,
I don't
think that's
a
conspiracy theory. Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I actually think that the CDC E. coli situation is a direct political retribution for the Trump stuff. I think this is the Biden administration.
Somebody died, so I don't think so. Okay.
Whatever. People die all the time. Somebody dies. Somebody that eats at McDonald's dies every day because so many people die and there's so many McDonald's. Okay. So to suddenly say because this person ate at McDonald's and they died, that I could say that any day.
That's a great thing. You never want to eat at McDonald's then ever again, because you don't want to be the guy when they say, well, he just had lunch at McDonald's and now he's dead. I wonder if he got E. coli or if he died of natural causes. I don't want to be that person. So yeah, you're right. Never eat at McDonald's again.
I mean, my point is, do you think there are specific stocks that are Harris stocks or Trump stocks other than DJT, obviously?
Well, I mean, obviously DJT, because it's a single point of failure.
Setting that aside, that's obvious.
I do think there are certain. I think Trump will be. I think the one place where everybody benefits from Trump will be, I hope he follows through with this if he wins, but changing up the SEC and getting rid of Gary Gensler. And so I think the one positive that I do see if Trump was to win is that it should tear down the crypto fences. I think he's committed to that space. He sounds like he's committed to that space. Of really opening it up, which I think would be really good. And I'm all in favor of that.
And it's also, I would say, very good for offshore passport holders.
Offshore passport? What does that mean?
Because the United States is the only country that taxes the passport regardless of your residency.
Oh, okay.
And Trump is going to eliminate taxes on the passport.
Yeah, because one of his friends was paying too much money in taxes.
Listen, he raised our taxes in New York because we didn't vote for him, okay? So this guy, it's like, anyway, the question is, are there stock? You say that crypto would rally on a Trump victory.
I think so. I think some of the, some of that space would rally, I think. But I don't know. It's already had a huge rally down today, but already had a huge rally. But, I don't know. Like, I really don't know.
For sure. Who the hell knows? Would you rather be long Harris on predicted or poly market right now or short DJT in the stock market?
No, I don't want to be short DJT, but not because I'm scared of DJT. It is very illiquid. It's hard to borrow, so you can't really be short it. And it's not really a tradable stock, so I don't trust that, that stock. I don't even know what volatility. My guess is, and I have not looked at this stock in a year because I really don't trade it because of the liquidity issues. It's got an 81. It's got an 81 IV rank, which is fine, but it's got an implied volatility. Yeah, it has an implied volatility of 247 in December. So what that means is that this stock is priced. It's a $35 stock with a December expected move of $23. So they're expecting this stock over the course of the next year to go to 0 or 100 in a year. And
which makes sense.
Right. No, I understand that. It says 250% volatility means it can go up 2.5 times or down to 0. And with a $23 expected move in December alone, which means, basically the stock's either going to $10 or to 60. And so I don't like that risk reward at all. So no, it does have a lot of volume today, but I wouldn't trade it. So no, I'm not trading it.
But the point, but it's not about it's not that's a structural critique. That's not a value critique.
Yeah,
it doesn't really. It's not really a meaningful answer.
No, it's a hard to borrow stock. I don't know what let me see what the borrow rates are on this. Hard to borrow. It's not that bad. It looks like it's not, the borrow rates aren't that bad, but it's a hard to borrow stock. So you have to pay a little extra. It's not ridiculous. I haven't traded it in a year, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I understand. Who do you actually think is going to win the presidential election 2 weeks from now?
Not
who do you want?
I think Harris is going to win.
I think so too.
I think
I think Trump might be better for the world.
Oh my God, never. But
just because I think Harris is extremely pro-war, and I think more war is not good for the world. And to have a president who likes lots of wars is not good for the world. That's my honest opinion.
Okay, we'll see. I don't agree with you, but we'll see.
You don't agree that Harris is more pro-war than Trump, you're saying?
No, I don't think so.
Listen, obviously I don't have no idea. I just have a fear.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this election. It'll be fun to watch.
It's kind of a fun matchup because they both have such fabulous. They both can be so offensive in their own way. So they both generate a tremendous amount of disdain. Like Biden was very boring. It was hard to hate Biden. It was just you were just befuddled as to how this was even happening. But Harris is capable of provoking all sorts of animosity. And Trump, no one provokes more animosity than Donald Trump. That's his forte.
No, he does it. That's his.
He gets out of bed and he makes everybody nuts.
That's his calling card.
What he does.
That's his calling card. He loves it. That's his thing. He wants that. That's how that puts him on the. That's his front. That's his front page. That's his whole thing.
Now, interesting because some people, they pick an issue, low taxes or whatever it is, right? You mentioned Jeff Yazzie and TikTok. And then they basically put on blinders and they're like, well, which of these, forget the candidates, which of these candidates represent policies that are in my self-interest, which is how you suggest that Jeff Yazzie might be behaving or how whoever, various people. You yourself are of a very pro-crypto persuasion.
I'm pro-free markets. I don't really think about it as crypto. I'm pro-free markets.
Okay, that's just some. You're just playing games with words now, but that's
no. I'm not. I'm for less. I'm for. I don't like regulators getting involved in free markets. I don't like it at all. So I'm for less regulation and more free markets.
Why not vote for Donald Trump simply because of his lower, his advocacy of a lesser regulatory state, considering that you yourself are a lesser regulatory advocate?
Because I don't vote for pathological liars.
Even if they advocate policies that you agree with?
Even if they gave me $100 million.
Really? So if Donald Trump offered you a wire transfer of $100 million in exchange for one small vote in the District of Illinois, you would not oblige?
No.
I mean, Donald Trump stole a fortune from my family. So if you want resentments for Donald Trump, I can line them up. I wouldn't vote.
I don't want any resentments. I don't want anybody else's story. Just my own. I don't care. I mean, would you sell your vote for? Is there a number you'd sell your vote for? Is there? I'm just curious. Is there?
No, sir.
I mean, that's a serious question.
Discussion. I'd probably be more likely to. Yeah, I think I would sell my vote because I don't think voting really matters.
Right. A lot of people would. I don't think America's really. I mean, if you want to know what I think the claim of America being a democracy is a fraudulent claim. It is a propagandist. It's not a democracy. You can buy my vote 10 ways. I'll sell it to you 50 times. Well, you just changed. You just went from you would not sell.
No, but I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind.
So now you'll sell your vote.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll sell my vote for $1.
I'll buy it.
Okay.
I'll buy it.
Sold to you.
I will buy your vote. Your next 10 birthday wishes. What else do you want to sell? I'll pay $1 for everything. I'll pay $10 for everything.
A lot more than my birthday wishes are worth. You can't. Those aren't for sale. My birthday wishes are worth a hell of a lot more than a vote in the U.S. in the gerrymandered uniparty American political system. But I'm trying to withhold some of my personal views here for purposes of broader thought.
Then I'll buy.
I'd hate for you to.
I'll buy all your future votes from you. Just give me a number. Just because I just own it. Then you can't say another word ever. I want to buy.
I can say anything I want. My vote is worthless. You can have it. I'll give it to you. Okay. The whole system of voting is actually a mechanism to delude people into the belief that they're in some ways relevant to a corrupt system that's managed by a small number of financial interests who control both political parties, which is why most people don't even bother voting. What's the largest political party in America? People who don't vote.
I don't know if that's. I don't know
because they are aware of the fact that large financial interests control both political parties. Will result in the same healthcare policy, the same war policy, the same bank policy, blah 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 blah.
That's a cop-out answer. 2/3 of America votes. 1/3 doesn't.
That's not true. That's not true.
Like 60-some-odd% of America will vote in this presidential election. And
I will bet you $100. We'll do over/under on participation. That's a nice bet. 60%. I'll take the under. You take the over. $100.
How do you? What number are we? Yeah, fine.
We'll go to like the Wall Street Journal or something. Like
fine.
We'll check the
I'll
Wall
take
Street
over.
Journal, like
I'll take the over.
The percent. We'll use the Wall Street Journal report for the percentage of registered voters that vote. And if it's more than 60, you win. And if it's less than 60, I win.
Okay, fine. Done.
I think that's a good bet. They should put that up on predicted and stuff like that.
Done.
An over/under at 60.
Done. I'll take over. I don't even know what
it's going to end up being like 54% voter participation.
It could be. I'll still take over 60. I'll take my chances.
The thing is that the thing that I appreciate about you, even though it's incorrect, is that you're such an optimist. You're such an optimist that you're willing to sort of believe that you're willing to believe. And I appreciate that. I find it to be endearing. But I find for such a cold-hearted master of the universe, billionaire next door that you are, that you have this sort of this strong this belief. Come on. Anyway, there's a reason Donald Trump is so popular. It's not because people like him. It's because they're profoundly frustrated with what they perceive to be a corrupt political system that is non-functional, and they know that Donald Trump is it's like the ultimatum game. They would rather burn the house to the ground, even if it means that they die, than perpetuate the corrupt system. I'm not saying they're right, but people misunderstand. They think, why do they love Donald Trump? They don't love Donald Trump. Some people might, but most people don't. But they are so frustrated with the legacy political system that they'd rather send the orange idiot destroyer than tolerate more of the bullshit.
They should be frustrated with themselves, not with the system. And it's just, yeah. I mean, listen.
Now you're speaking like the Portland, Maine librarian. Okay, that's something that she would say.
That's Trump's genius right there. He's an idiot, but that's his genius, is that he figured out. He figured it out. And whether he did it intentional or just, he backed into it. That's his genius. It's okay. I give him credit for that.
All right. I think he's going to lose, though. All jokes aside, I do think he loses this presidential election. I do, actually.
So do I.